Rossignol of RE/MAX Preferred Group. To be part of the program, dial 513-563-1480 to get your answers to questions about your home and property. That number again, 513-563-1480. Now, here's Gary.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I hope you had a great Halloween week. Next holiday coming up is Thanksgiving. Can you believe that? It's unbelievable, man. Don't forget, tomorrow, turn your clocks back an hour. You don't want to forget that. We love bringing you current, helpful, and entertaining information about our city and our neighborhood. And this morning, I have a gentleman who is no stranger to the show. He is the president and owner and head attorney of First Title Agency, my friend, Mr. Dan Orner.
Hey. Good morning, everybody.
No applause. Okay.
Oh, we have one applause person back there.
But before we get into the topic for the day, I'd like to give you a chance to win a $10 gift card to Starbucks. So here is our trivia question for the morning. Who wore the white suit on the cover of the Beatles' Abbey Road album? 513-563-1480. If you know the answer to that question, who wore the white suit on the cover of the Beatles' Abbey Road album, you get yourself a $10 gift card to Starbucks. If you're having trouble with that question, who was walking barefoot on the cover of the Beatles' Abbey Road album? Oh, we got a winner already. I don't need to have a backup question. They know it already. That's pretty cool. Good deal. So, they got it already. That's outstanding. My audience is fantastic. Thank you, Facebook, for tuning in. We appreciate that. Stay with us. I know you're going to enjoy the show. Dan Orner.
Yes.
You've been in business since 1980.
we don't divulge ages around here. I think it was my grandfather that started the company. Actually,
you think so?
Yeah, I just came on after the fact.
All right. Well, we'll go
But our
with that.
company is 32 years old.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I got licensed 2 years before you got in business, 1986. So we've been around a long time. I've known you since the very beginning, too.
We've gotten better and better and wiser and smarter and smarter. We know to talk less, maybe.
Exactly, right.
But, the company itself, 32, and, of course, we were both in business a little bit before that.
Let's try talking less on the radio.
Well, okay.
Dead silence?
Well, that one thinks he's going to go very far.
No.
I don't know if your sponsors will like that.
So you've had lots of changes since then, and you're also busy at the state and national levels with legal administration. What are some of the things you don't do the everyday close. You got top-notch people that do your closings.
We're very fortunate. We have people been with us on an average of 15 years. We have people. A lady just celebrated her 30th year with us.
Wow.
That's just phenomenal. So you have that continuity. It allows you to grow and allows you to allows a benefit for me to be able to work with really good quality people. Mm-hmm. And so it lets me do things on a national basis. So I've just got back. Matter of fact, last week I was at the American Land Title Association convention in Austin, Texas. And so it's just amazing the things that are happening. And I've been going to that for probably the last 20-plus years and also dabbled in technology. And so I've had a company or so that's been involved in those kinds of things on a national level. So, yeah, there's so many things that are happening. There's so many scary things that are happening right now, too, so which I'm sure we're going to get into in a little bit. So,
what's one of the greatest changes that if you look back and think, wow, wasn't like that 30 years ago?
Oh, my gosh, there's so many. But I tell you the one that right now it's what's coming. And with a new law in Ohio where you can do e-notarization, electronic notarization. Mm-hmm. And so our lives, the consumers' lives, agents' lives are changing so much in terms of how we do closings. Because I'm not saying that we like it, but that's the way it is that we can do a closing and somebody can be in their home. Mm-hmm. And they can execute all their documents right from their home. So we can be at our office in Ohio and execute or notarize a closing and handle a closing in Florida. Texas or any place, as long as it's Ohio property and things like that. So requirements to meet, then of course they have to have the right technology in their home and things like that to be able to do it. But my gosh, it means that a person was probably, I'm not trying to give any suggestions out there, but I mean, what if a person doesn't want to drive 2 blocks to come to the title company for closing, or they don't want to go to a realtor's
It's
office
hard
for
to get
closing.
buyers and sellers and agents.
Yeah, I think we're going to find that it's going to be bifurcated, and that that we're not to a point. And in some areas, it doesn't happen already. You go to Cleveland, and typically sellers and buyers never see each other.
Right.
But down here, we typically have, up there they call it escrow closings. Here we call it roundtable closings. And so here you typically have a buyer and seller, which I've always thought, it's kind of odd because the buyer has confidential information on the closing table, and a seller can look across and potentially even see their Social Security number and things like that. And sometimes you have situations, as you know better than I, where sellers and buyers maybe shouldn't see each other. Maybe things weren't going well, or
sometimes
negotiation was tough.
Sometimes the 2 sellers, you have to have them in separate rooms.
We've had that.
Yeah.
We've had 2 sellers have fisticuffs in a closing before. So, yeah. Well, we had one seller espouse, when we'll see if it was male or female, and said, well, I'm coming to closing, I'm bringing my pistol.
Oh.
So I hired an armed guard.
Wow.
And she had to be searched before coming in.
Wow.
Whoops. I got out, sorry. I'm not wise enough for that. So that change coming up, that will change it more than all the others, I think, and the others have been very, very significant. But this is just we don't know how this is really going to evolve.
Are we moving away from the personal? Because what I recognize at closings is when buyers and sellers get together, and especially if it's been most 85% of the closings that I'm involved with, buyers and sellers get along really well. Yeah. And we've had one where my buyer was a disabled American veteran, and the seller just built a new house, and they're moving 4 miles away, and they just said, If you have an emergency, here's our number. If you need groceries, last minute call, we'll go and get the groceries. I mean, they felt for this guy, and it was a nice arrangement, and they share about when the garbage day is little things. The kid that's 15 years old down the street does our lawn. He does it for extra money,
that's an excellent commentary in terms of. Unfortunately, on television and movies, we see a lot of the negative things. We're still, my commentary, a wonderful society in terms of loving people, caring about people, wanting to help people. And don't you just feel good inside when you do something for somebody? Yeah. Especially when you do something. Now, this is not me. We've seen this kind of stuff like pass it forward and stuff in movies. But when you do something for somebody else, and especially if there's no way they'll ever know about it, it just warms your heart. I mean, it just makes you feel like $1 million. Yeah. And I know this isn't a religious thing. I believe that's the way of God that sends a message to us of comfort and reward, and that you have that really good feeling. But do it with a smile. If you're going to help a little old person across the street, do it with a smile. If you complain about it, the old person will probably kick you on the other side of the road, but do it with a smile. Enjoy it.
And do it without wanting anything in return.
Absolutely.
Do it from your heart. I mean, what it's about. So
and we all do that probably every day. And I'm sure, and this is not promoting just First Title. I mean, I would imagine we all do this every day in various ways. We help people without compensation. We answer this, or we guide them to that, or we do this, or there's extra time for this, or whatever it is. It's getting it done and getting it done well. And that's our self-payment of reward in addition to the financial. So, yeah, it's huge. It's I think it's who we are as people.
Yeah, I think you have...
Can I get an amen over there, Dan?
Your company has a can-do spirit about you. You have a little catchphrase, get it done.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, whatever it takes.
And I do think that the greater Cincinnati area, I think we're blessed with good people in the title industry. I mean, it's our company, and it's also other companies. We are all a service-based, and we're actually working to do. We all make mistakes. We would do the best we possibly can, so that effort. So I think we're blessed in the number and the types of professionals that we have across the board.
So, what exactly is a title company's role in a real estate transaction, Dan? A lot of, we have you in here. We talk about that, and after we get a transaction done, we say, well, the lender's sending it to the title company. You're going to do a title. So, what is involved?
Keeping it on a direct, simple basis is we really do two things, and then you can break it down into hours of discussion. We handle money.
We only have 5 minutes.
and you wouldn't want to hear the other 2 hours or 5 hours either. But we do two things. We handle other people's money and other people's documents. We're the custodian of documents and the custodian of money. Mm-hmm. Those are the two things that we do. And those are the two things that we're evaluated on. And it's how we handle, and the first thing I think of is in terms of how we handle money, how money gets to us, where the money is when we hold it, because we're holding the entire purchase price, which includes the loan amount, which includes the buyer's money. And, of course, sooner after closing, it turns into the seller's money. So the point is we're holding everyone's money, every penny of that purchase price of that transaction. And so now, before the closing is getting that money to us and how you get it to us, and there's requirements by law and how you do that. We have requirements we have to meet in terms of how we hold the money. We call it an escrow account. Some people call it a settlement account. It's a separate account. Mm-hmm. It's not part of our money. Our money's not in that thing at all. It's other people's money. I mean, in a couple of years, I had over $1 billion go through my escrow account.
Wow.
Organizing that, coordinating it, getting it in, getting it out. There's a lot of people. It's a lot of effort involved to make that sure that's done just right. So how do you hold money? Then how you disperse the money. And so handling that money is key because you're many times, as you know, holding people's money, that it's their life savings. It's their biggest purchase in life. So that is definitely key. So you're trusting us to hold money. And we have insurance and all that kind of stuff, but it's trusting us to hold money. Secondly, it's documentation. There's deeds and mortgages and all kinds of closing documents. And so the things that have to be recorded or things we have to do to clean up title. And so how we handle documents is also very, very important. And getting those documents recorded properly recorded. So it's just simply those two things, how well we do it. Now, in addition to that, when you're conducting closings, it's working with people and getting documents in and getting people in, getting them to bring, they've got to bring their ID and all that kind of stuff. And so all those things that filter down in order to do it properly, in order to properly hold and disperse money, and in terms of properly getting documents done, getting documents signed, getting documents dispersed and recorded. Everything emanates from those two things. And do it with a smile.
Yeah. So we were going to talk about this in the third segment, but let's jump ahead and we'll just flip-flop a little bit. With handling all that information, there's one of the requirement that title companies have to do, which is Ohio law, and that's offer closing protection insurance. Mm-hmm. That has such a misnomer. No one really understands what it covers and what it does not cover. They don't know how to explain it properly.
Right.
Therefore, I was at two closings this week, two different title companies. They did a good job. They handled the money. They handled the documents. But when it came time to that, the realtor sitting across the table representing her client just told her client, you don't need it. And on the other closing, the closing person said, nobody ever buys it.
Oh, God, that irritates me. But
So we've got about a minute. We can pick this up when we come back after the break. But I would really like your take on how to explain it properly. It's a bad time to explain it at the closing table when you're faced with it, when you're with your client. I like to warn them ahead of time.
Sure.
And tell them what it is and what it is not. And because they're going to ask me, should I buy it? And I say, if I were you, I would.
Right.
But I'm not going to tell you you have to or that you shouldn't.
Right.
That's not my place. I would like to take a moment right now and express my gratitude to all the troops, the veterans, and the first responders. These are the men and women who selflessly strive to keep our nation and city streets safe and free.
Amen.
You see somebody in a uniform from afar, give them the thank you sign. Go up and shake their hand. Give them a big bear hug. Pick up their tab. Let them know that we are grateful for everything they do for our freedoms here in the United States, especially those first responders. Man, they are there lickety-split, and they save lives. And our young men and women who give up their careers and their families and go halfway around the world for our freedom, they just don't get enough thank yous. So thank them. If you have a question or comment, call us at 513-563-1480. After our break, we're going to have a moment with Myles, and then Dan and I are going to talk more about the closing protection, and we're going to jump into a little bit about cybercrime, which is a big, big problem. You're listening to the Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour on the flagship station for FC Cincinnati Soccer on WDJO 1480, now FM 99.5 and 107.9.
Why rent when you can own with no money down? If you're looking to become a first-time homeowner in the Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky areas, or heck, even if you haven't owned a home in the past 3 years and are now looking to buy, you may be eligible to receive up to $15,000 in homeowners assistance towards closing costs, pre-closing expenses, or even your whole down payment. That's right, you can own your own home with no money down. Find out if you qualify. Call Gary at 513-777-2402. That's Gary at 513-777-2402.
Come together and celebrate peace, love, and the greatest Beatle tribute concert ever. Rain, a tribute to the Beatles. The biggest, best, and greatest Beatles tribute just keeps getting better. Come together. Rain, a tribute to the Beatles.
Hey, Facebook. Carol, I knew you'd be on here, and you're in Cleveland. Say hi to Carol.
Hi,
She's
Carol.
a sweetheart. Hi, Carol. And everybody else who tunes in, I know we got a lot of realtors that tune in. Really pay attention to this next segment, because this is going to possibly save you a lot of strife, make you a little more professional, and when you're sitting across the table from the other agent, you're going to be one up on them, because you're going to know exactly how to explain closing protection, what it does and what it does not, because the first 5 minutes of the next segment, we're going to delve into that. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. I'm going to plug you all back into the studio feed, and we're going to have more fun coming up.
513-326-0040. That's 513-326-0040 to schedule a tour, or visit hillandale.com.
Welcome to Mount Healthy Auto Body.
Howdy, they call me Crash. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Had a little accident. Need some body work.
Well, you've come to the right place. Crash.
Oops.
That's okay. Say, why do they call you Crash?
Heck if I know.
From minor touch-ups to major mess-ups, the name you need to remember is Mount Healthy Auto Body. 521-8600. Mount Healthy Auto Body. Precision collision repair since 1930. 521-8600. Come see them at 1595 Madison Avenue, 1 block north of the Ronald Reagan Cross County Highway in beautiful Mount Healthy.
Cedar Music has one of the best selections of new and pre-owned pianos in the Midwest. Choose from name brand pianos such as Baldwin, Kawai, Steinway, and Yamaha. If you've been dreaming of owning an instrument that will provide a lifetime of enjoyment, take advantage of Cedar's great selection and guaranteed low pricing. Cedar Music is located at 6800 Montgomery Road, a mile and a half south of the Kenwood Town Center. Let the piano experts at Cedar Music help make your musical dreams come true. For more information, call 93 Music. That's 93MUSIC.
Get on. Let's rock the house.
Thanks for listening. I know you won't regret it. I'm your host, Gary Rossignol, with RE/MAX Preferred Group, better known as Cincinnati's Rock and Roll Realtor. And now the moment we have been waiting for. Because this is the captain of our ship, Mr. Myles Beersford, and his moment with Myles. Good morning, Myles.
Hey, Gary, rock and roll, my friend. Gary, your listeners, both agents and consumers, should know that the Cincinnati Area Board of Realtors has developed the new video and audio surveillance acknowledgement for use by members. It should be addressed at the time of listing a property. Ohio law addresses both audio and video recordings. Under Ohio law, an individual is permitted to use surveillance equipment to video record on his property. The There are, however, limitations on that right to record. Audio recordings are allowable with more strict provisions. In Ohio, in order to legally make an audio recording, at least one person being recorded must consent to being recorded. The intent of the new CABR form is to document that information has been provided to a seller, informing them of the existence of the law, advising them to direct questions to their attorney, and to agree to disable any audio recording feature when persons are present on the property. The form is available at cabr.org. And that's this morning's Moment with Myles.
Wow, that's good stuff, Myles. Thank you very much. And, buyers and sellers are not aware. For the last year or so, when I take a buyer into a home, I always have this discussion before we get to the house. You may be under surveillance. They'll be watching and listening to everything you say and do. So if you have a question or you want to make a comment or you want to wow their house or that's ugly carpeting or whatever you don't want the seller to hear or see, save it till we leave the home. You have to be real careful with that. Yeah, it makes a big difference. So thank you, Myles, with his lovely wife, Christine Beersford. They are the owners of the largest RE/MAX brokerage in the state of Ohio, RE/MAX Preferred Group, and I am so happy and proud to be a part of that organization. Thank you again for that. Next week, my guest is Bob Pape with Polaris Home Funding Corp. New rates, new programs, new opportunities for buying a home. We've got a lot of regular listeners each week, and I'm so happy and grateful for each and every one of you. Keep telling your friends to tune in and like us on Facebook. And I'd like to say a big special hi to Carol from South Lebanon, Bob Myers, Gary Rasmussen, Mary Kay Ventura, who's listening or watching on Facebook, and all my realtor friends, too. The Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour is brought to you today by Dan Orner of First Title Agency, 513-772-1140. You are in Ohio, Kentucky, Dayton, Troy, Springboro. Where else?
You got it.
That's it?
West Side, Indiana.
Indiana, too. Wow. If you are buying or selling a home, call Dan Orner at First Title Agency, 513-772-1140. And buyers don't know they make the decision who does the closing for them.
Pretty much.
Not up to the realtors or.
Well, the lender has a huge say.
Well, yeah, but.
Well, think of it. If you're a lender, I mean, it's your mortgage, and you got to live with it for 30 years, and so you should have a little bit of a say in your closing your documents. But yes, they have a great say. Yes.
All right. So we were just delving in on the discussion on closing protection, and like I said, I hear so many scary things at the closing table, and I almost not like when we get to that point in the closing where they say, by law, we have to, as a title agency, we have to offer you closing protection. And for a seller, it's $55, and for a buyer, it's $20 if the lender has the protection as well. $55 is not a lot of money, and the seller will turn to me and say, do I need that? And my answer is, and tell me if I'm wrong, but my answer is, if I were you, I would get it, but I'm not going to tell you to get it, and I'm not going to tell you not to get it. It's something that, your decision. And
I'm not going to. It's not me to say you're right or wrong. I think people can make their own decisions. As an attorney, and I don't represent sellers and buyers anymore. I stopped that many years ago. So I think it's kind of a conflict.
Kind of represent the bank.
But technically, a title agent is an agent. Working in a fiduciary capacity, contractual capacity for the lender. Mm-hmm. So the way I put it as an attorney, and I'll come back to what it actually covers, but is I consider it malpractice if I don't make my clients extremely aware of this, and I would actually have them sign off that they've been advised to get it, and if they don't get it, that's their choice. Because it is America, and you can decide yes or no. You can decide how to spend your money. The thing that I mean, it comes down to this, and there's some similarities. They're not exactly the same, but do I want life insurance? Do I want auto insurance? Well, if I want damage coverage on my car, I'm going to have insurance.
Right.
And if I want life insurance, when I die, I can't expect there to be any financial benefit to go to my family if I didn't buy life insurance.
Or health insurance.
Or health. If you don't have it, you don't get it. You don't get the benefits from it. So it's like, then don't come back and cry. Now, excuse me for being direct here on the radio, but if I'm a consumer, and I'm just trying to be direct to be open so that we all kind of get the point, not that we're being harsh at all.
Right.
But if I didn't pay for it, I'm not entitled to the coverage. I'm not entitled to come back if there's a title issue, or if I'm a seller, and the buyer is now suing me. And if I'm a buyer, I'm stuck. If I didn't buy title insurance, so if there's an issue, so I can't necessarily complain. So closing protection coverage, it is required by the Department of Insurance, State of Ohio, that consumers be aware of it, in this case, sellers and buyers. And agents can also get it, and a lender. And about probably 95 to 80, almost to 99% of the time, the lenders almost always get it. And the buyer pays for it for the lender. The borrower pays for it. And so...
in closing costs.
Yeah. So for the seller, it's $55. And for a consumer,